What's up, y'all? We're back with another video, and sorry there's not been as much content as of late. I'll talk to y'all at the end of this video a little bit about why that is and also what the plan is moving forward for content, but I wanted to get something up and let y'all know, that I'm still alive and all that. And what better way to do that than to cover the viral William McNeil traffic stop. Now, I've seen plenty of other YouTube lawyers making videos on this, but honestly, all the ones that I've seen have been like family lawyers or civil lawyers or corporate lawyers. I don't think I've seen any actual criminal lawyers doing that, which is why I'm throwing in my 2 cents as a former prosecutor myself and a current criminal defense attorney. I think there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. And so if you want the freshest, most interesting perspective you can get on this case, definitely watch this video all the way through to the end. What's up, everybody? My name's Scotty O, aka the Gen Z attorney, and as I said, I'm a former prosecutor, current defense attorney, and I make videos on this channel covering high-profile civil, criminal, and constitutional cases to break them down, pull the curtain back, and let y'all know what's really going on with them. So if you like that kind of content, then be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to come back for more. But that's enough yapping, let's just jump into this traffic stop. Alright, so here we have it. This is the viral video that was taken by William McNeil. Just a tiny bit of factual background. This is taking place in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a traffic stop. He was pulled over for apparently not having his headlights on during inclement weather, here being rain, as well as not wearing a seatbelt. They initiate the traffic stop, and he is disputing the stop and decides to start recording himself, at which point he captures this little sequence of events, which is what has gone ultra viral.
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
McNeil, who remains calm despite the powerful punch and does not fight back, is pulled out of his car as the officer delivers another punch. Officers demanding he show his hands.
And that's really the thrust of the entire thing. It's the breaking of the window, followed immediately by the punch, and then pulling him out, and then another punch as they're trying to handcuff him. Although, I do want to watch this in actually super slow-mo, just to get the full idea. Let me turn that audio off. Kind of grits at the ears. But, of course, this really doesn't make a huge difference, but you can see it's actually an open hand slap, which, right, like I said, doesn't make a difference in the actual carrying out of whether or not this is okay or justified. But I just wanted to point that out. Just everyone's calling it a punch. I'm probably still going to call it a punch from here on out, but just, I guess, as a little fun fact, it was actually an open hand slap. But, right, pulled out, and then outside of the car, it definitely is a full punch as they're trying to grab him, trying to get him down to the ground. There's the other punch, yeah. Which, yeah, trying to place him under arrest, get him down to the ground, or at least trying to arrest him standing up. If he's not going to comply, not going to go along with that, then they're taking him down to the ground. This is just police procedure. This is how it goes. So that is the arrest part of it that went viral. But the other parts of this video I wanted to cover were the body cams, just to see kind of a different perspective, different angle of things. Not necessarily that's going to change the outcome of how we feel about it. I will say just so far, based on the video just by itself, I think absolutely the officer was not justified in the slaps and in the punch. In a situation like that, even if, because right, we're about to get a context of like, okay, what was the buildup? Because here's the other thing about viral videos, right? Anything can look terrible in a 5 or 10 second clip. You always need context. You always need to get the full story in order to be the most informed and educated person. So when I saw that video, that was my immediate first thought was, what's the context? Specifically, how long was the stop? How is he behaving during the stop? Because if he's being non-compliant during a stop leading up to that point, then yes, you're going to reach a point where the officers now are going to place you under arrest. Even though you're still inside the car, you could have locked yourself in the car. They can tell you through the car you're under arrest. And at that point, they're now justified in going into the car to get you out, which usually involves breaking the window and opening the door. So that was what I wanted to know immediately. What was the context? Although even then, I didn't feel like any context was going to justify the slaps and the punch, because you can see it from the replay there. He breaks the window and then immediately punches. I think that's where he's crossed the line. Once you break the window, your next step as an officer has to be, or should be, to unlock the door to get him out. If he's resisting, or if he's gets himself into a fighting stance with you, or if he's reaching somewhere, at that point, now you're going to be justified in using force as an officer. But at that point in the video, he'd broken the window, he was sitting there motionless. The slap in the face, totally not justified. And then, so that one clearly unjustified. Getting him out of the car, it's hard to tell by looking at it through a video, because you can't tell how much he's actually like tensing up or not refusing to put his arms behind his back and be handcuffed. So it's always going to be hard to tell just watching it. But even then, even if he's not complying with being arrested, I still think that second punch is also not justified, just because, right, when you're trying to arrest somebody, you're trying to subdue them, you're trying to submit them, more in a wrestling sense than a boxing sense. And so you're trying to get him under control. Granted, there still are situations where physical force like that is going to be justified, particularly if they're trying to exert force back against you. Now, these officers, from what I understand, probably felt like he was exerting force against them simply by refusing to comply with the arrest, but I still don't think that's justified. I think these officers should face disciplinary actions. Criminal charges, that's going to be a tough one. That's a high burden to me. And maybe I can make another video talking about what exactly goes into prosecuting a police officer, going through doctrines like qualified immunity and whatnot. But it is a high standard in order to prosecute a police officer. Do I think criminal charges here are justified? Probably not. However, do I think these officers, this one in particular, the one that did the punching and slapping, does he deserve to be a police officer? Also probably not. I think he should lose his job over this, because this was an unjustified use of force. But I know that's a lot of rambling, a lot of yapping. But that's just my takeaway immediately from watching the viral video. But now we can watch the body cam videos just to get the other perspective, get the officer's perspective, and see what was going on that day. And so body cam always starts silent. The first 30 seconds of the body cam recording has no audio. This is standard as well. We can already tell it is overcast. And Florida, man, I'm from Florida myself. When it's overcast like that, the skies can open up pretty quickly, pretty out of nowhere. So at least insofar as where we are right now with the pulling him over for not having his lights on.
Yeah, Florida 2-4 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia.
So that's what he just did there. He called it the license plate. He called that into dispatch. He's going to have them run the license plate to get him information on who the registered owner is, who he might expect to find in this vehicle, and more importantly, whether or not they've got any warrants out for them that they can communicate to the officer. He can say, oh, you've got a warrant for your arrest. I got to place you under arrest. You got to come with me. So that's just some preliminary information. And once again, yeah, overcast. This would qualify as inclement weather for the statute. It is a traffic infraction in Florida to not have your lights on at this moment.
I like this.
Yes, sir.
All right, immediately here, him popping the door open like that, you are raising a huge red flag in the officer's eyes, like right out the gate. Because he has no idea, are you opening it because you're trying to get out? Are you trying to come out and charge me? Are you trying to get a better angle on me to pull out a gun and shoot me? Opening a door like that is like automatically just, this situation just escalated pretty dramatically, and I don't think he understands that. But I'm telling you, just from an officer's perspective, like, get it. Remember, I was prosecutor for 2 years. I've watched hundreds of body cams like this. Just a simple action like that, you gotta, because what I try and do with these situations, try and put yourself in the officer's perspective. I know that's tough to do for some of us. We just like to use hindsight as 20/20. And even look, as a defense attorney now, majority of my job representing criminal defendants is looking at the officers and trying to dispute and to debunk what they were doing and try and make them look bad to try and get better results for my client. So, but I'm just saying right now, look, this channel, I pride it on being fair and neutral, and right out the gate, popping the door open like that is a bad move.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on.
And already too, just from there, they've only like exchanged 2 sentences back and forth with each other. You can already tell this guy's going to be difficult. He is hitting you with the questions. Even just the way he said that. Let's listen back to it.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely.
To just immediately jump into like, well, why are you pulling me over? Like, it's a valid question to ask. I don't want to get that message across. Like, that's not a valid question, but hopefully y'all can see what I'm seeing with just kind of the body language and the way he phrased it. You know, that's what they say, right? 80% of communication is nonverbal, is communicated through your tone, through your body language and whatnot. So right now, automatically, he's popping the door open and he's taking a rather confrontational attitude with the officer. He's not going well. He's not doing what I would recommend any of my clients to do when they're interacting with an officer during a traffic stop.
Absolutely, there's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights, and it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
So I want to mark this here. We're 1 minute in. He's explained to him now the basis for the stop. Inclement weather, no lights during inclement weather, and he's also identified not wearing a seatbelt. Seems like here he's not wearing the seatbelt currently. Maybe he undid it to lean out. That's certainly possible, but I don't really care as much about the seatbelt one. It is a valid reason for a stop. It may be annoying, but it is a valid reason to initiate a traffic stop. But I want to focus here on the inclement weather one because, like I said, the weather, it is in fact inclement weather at this point, and you can see literal raindrops on his car. So it may not be raining right now, but it was just raining very recently. So yeah, this is a 100% justified stop. The officer, in order, basically the legal standard for an order to pull somebody over, they have to have reasonable suspicion that they may have committed a crime or an infraction. Here, he's committed an infraction here. He's got the reasonable suspicion. This is a completely valid, completely legal stop. But Mr. McNeil obviously is disagreeing with that, trying to argue his interpretation of the law that he does not need to have his lights on because it's daylight out, which I saw some clips from his press conference. His attorney, Ben Crump, was making the same argument that he did not have to have his lights on, but I would suggest Mr. Crump go read the actual Florida statute and then get back to us on whether or not it actually is, whether he's actually right about his interpretation of it.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver.
But yeah, okay, that's why I paused it in the first place. 1 minute and 1 second. He has clearly communicated to him the reason for the stop, the two reasons for the stop. Let's keep a mental note of how many more times he asks the reason for the stop, why he got pulled over.
License, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Call your supervisor.
So he's asked him now, the officer has asked, I need your license, registration, proof of insurance. Once again, 100% valid, 100% legal request by an officer to make during a traffic stop. If they make this request of you, assuming they have reasonable suspicion for initiating the stop in the first place, then yes, you have to comply. And if you do not comply, you can get charged with obstruction. And that is what happened here at the end of this case. So he's made a valid request and he's refusing to comply and now asking for a supervisor.
Why did you pull me over?
35.
And he's asked again. He's already asked again why he got pulled over. He's like, he just explained it to you, buddy, 10 seconds ago. And now he's calling for backup, uncooperative driver. Another reason for that, situations like this, once again, you have no idea. He could have a knife on him. He could have a gun on him. He can reach in a half a second and have a gun, and then a half second later have it out and pointed at the officer. When you've got someone who's being uncooperative, and this is why officers tend to ride in pairs, right? They always want to have the advantage with the numbers, and because you just never know. You never know when a situation might take a dramatic turn towards the worst, and might even get deadly. Like, this is all cops here. Anytime there's a deadly situation anywhere in the country that involves an officer getting shot and killed or getting severely wounded in some other way, they hear about it, and then they have that on their mind. It's top of mind when they're dealing with any of their day-to-day situations. Like, look, and I'm friends with tons of officers still. Yeah, we have our battles in court now. We used to be working together when I was prosecutor, but now I'm on the other side. I'm on the dark side, as they say. And now we have our battles in court, but we're still good friends. And they've just explained to me their number one priority is to get home to their wife and kids every single night. That is the number one priority. And of course it is. Like, why wouldn't it be? It's such, yeah, of course it is. So anyway, getting back to the video, right, he's requesting backup, uncooperative driver. That's just standard practice. The officer has done nothing wrong up to this point.
I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
And now Mr. McNeil continues to make the situation worse by now he's locked himself inside the car. He's refused to step out. He's refusing to comply. He's refused to comply with every single command that he's been given, every single lawful order. And keep that in mind. Every order that's been given has been a lawful order, including the order to step out. It's a Supreme Court case, Pennsylvania versus Mims. You've probably heard police officers saying that before, but it does give legal authority for an officer to order someone to step out of the vehicle, particularly when an officer might have a reasonable fear for his own safety in the circumstances, which at this point, they kind of always have a reasonable fear until they have a scene secure. Right now, the scene is not secure because he has no idea who's in this car or what's in this car. He's got very limited information right now, which under the MIM standard is going to give him the authority to ask him to step out. And now Mr. McNeil, right, he's made it completely way worse on himself by locking himself inside the vehicle.
25 seconds. For 9-4, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep.
He's already explained it. 36 seconds ago.
25 seconds. If anybody responded, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please.
And that is another just procedural step here. Requesting that someone coming in from this street over here on the left side, they come in and they block his exit route, because not only everything works in steps of escalation. You've got someone who's not complying, they're resisting your orders, they're not complying with your lawful orders. What's the next logical step that they might do? He could throw this car and drive and peel out of there. He's obviously not going to listen to what you're saying. What's stopping him from doing that? So he calls it in and is calling in for someone to come in and block the escape route. Once again, completely standard, officer is completely justified in everything he's done up to this point.
Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting.
And so, yeah, at this point, an officer does not have a duty to stand there and play stupid games with people for forever. People seem to be not understanding that, but so far we have a guy who he's resisted and not complied with every single lawful order he's been given. He's now locked himself inside of his car. Yes, that is a crime in Florida. It is resisting an officer without violence. You know, there's a way of doing it with violence, but he was charged here just for resisting without violence. So even though he's in the car and he's not handcuffed or anything, yeah, at this stage in time, he is under arrest. And now it's just a matter of the cops going in and actually placing him under physical arrest, right? He's under legal arrest currently in this situation, but now the officers are going to go in and place him under physical arrest.
You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be.
True.
Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay.
Back up. There's the block. Keep in mind, just through all of this is like, he could have gotten off with just a warning. There's not even a guarantee he'd get a ticket out of this. The officers that I know, when they catch people for infractions, heck, I've even had officers where they'll catch people factually on misdemeanors. For example, say it's a simple possession of marijuana. I went on a ride-along one time. They caught a guy with a criminal amount of weed on him. Instead of arresting him and charging him with the class 3 misdemeanor, they made him dump it out on the street and stomp it out and let it blow away with the wind, and then let him off, let him go from there. So officers are really the ones that I'm used to. Of course, this doesn't speak for all of them, but the ones that I'm used to are not used to jamming people up just for the fun of it, because it's just a hassle. It's a headache for them to place somebody under arrest for something stupid like this case. It just is way more paperwork, way more headache than anyone wants. So my guess, if he would have just, done what I advise my own clients to do, which is hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, yes sir, no sir, I don't know sir, comply with the lawful orders, basically do everything they say, and their body cams are going to be on. If something goes wrong, if they do something they're not supposed to, then assuming the body cam is on, which there's penalties for it not being on, it's going to get recorded, and we can fight that later in court. You are not winning the fight here on the side of the road. The officers will win this fight 10 times out of 10. There's no good in doing that. Let's fight it in court. Just show everyone, and heck, show the world. Say this goes viral, which this does go viral for the punch, which I'm still talking about how the officer is justified and everything up to this point. That doesn't change the fact that once it gets to the time of pulling him out, he did something unjustified with the punch. But yeah, you're only making it worse for yourself, and you could have got away from this with a simple warning. Doesn't mean the officer was going to give a warning. Maybe he was going to actually write him up a ticket for the silly infractions. But this just got so much worse than it had to be. But I guess from Mr. McNeil and his family's perspective just got so much better than it had to be, because now they get to have this big lawsuit and call in Ben Crump, who gets to parachute in like he does on every single high-profile case like this. Like, I don't know how he does it. He is so quick to get in touch with these families and then be there at these press conferences. Even the one I saw for this case, he had a tie that had a bunch of circles on it that said BC on them. Like the absolute audacity. Maybe I'm just not living large enough myself. Maybe I need to get ties that have my initials on them like 30 times, and I need to parachute around the country, raising trouble on cases like this. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm pausing it a lot, but there's a lot to talk about. Let's get through the rest of this video.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window.
And now I have to pause it again because that's important, because he has clearly communicated to him now, look, you are under arrest. You must exit the vehicle now. If you do not exit the vehicle, we will be breaking your window. It's been clearly communicated to him. A simple FAFO, right? F around, find out.
Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
Repeats the command.
Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
3 times. He's told him 3 times.
No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
I mean, can he be communicating any more clearly than this?
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
What is it, like 10 times you said that?
Vehicle's blocked in.
Remember, this was at the 1 minute mark. He communicated him the reason for the stop, and here we are, almost 3 minutes later, still refusing everything.
He's locked it up. He's putting the window down on the passenger side to talk to 2574.
Ready to break the window. This may seem boring just watching him stand there, but this is important to show how much time is passing with this stop. Giving him every opportunity to comply and stop making the situation as difficult as it is.
Hey, I'm about to break the window. I'm about to break the window.
Alright, go for it. Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
Can't really see the punch.
Show me your hands.
Here.
Obviously, we see it with the other angle.
1033 at 1521 hours.
What is your reason?
Continuing to ask what's the reason. We've already been over that.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
Now, it does appear that more punches were thrown
What's wrong with you?
when he's already on the
I was
ground.
putting my hands behind my back. I was going to walk.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
Fucking 2%, bro. I'm doing, bro. What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's
No,
going
bro.
on.
No, bro.
Yes, bro.
Yes. That's a lawful reason, bro.
They do have a lawful reason.
You gonna throw my phone like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro. That's not how it works.
You just gotta see what
That's not how it works.
So your partner didn't even ask.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you see him pull up? Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong,
I
bro.
think he has some blood on his
Can
chin,
you back me
too.
up to the car so I can mean up? Sit up. You bust my bro.
Yeah, and then I guess that's another legal point to discuss is once you're placed under arrest, now officers do not need a warrant to search you. It's called a search incident to arrest. Yes, that's what they did. They had him under arrest, and now they could search into his pockets. So yeah, fun fact, officers cannot actually search inside of your pockets without a warrant, unless you're already under arrest, of course, or unless they can feel on the outside when they do the pat-down, and they feel something that based on the plain feel, they can tell what it is. So say it's a gun, they can kind of feel it through the pat-down. Oh, this is a gun. then they can go and get it. But if they feel something and they don't know what it is, it's just something like, what is that? And they reach in to grab it, that is an unlawful search. That's against Fourth Amendment. So yeah, keep that in mind for my TikTok and YouTube lawyers out there. Although I always hesitate people or caution people to be hesitant as far as you see what trying to be your own lawyer gets you in situations like this. Although once again, I may have to eat crow because he's probably going to get some huge settlement from the city out of this because, and this is why I want to talk about this case, because this is a great example of two things being true at once. On the one hand, this is a valid traffic stop. There were valid lawful orders he was given. It was a valid reason to break the window and to pull him out of the vehicle. That is all true. And it is also true that it was unjustified and unlawful to slap him in the face that first time and then punch him in the face again after that. I can see, both things being true here. And like I said at the beginning, I think this officer should probably lose his job or at least face some pretty severe consequences internally from the police department over this. But do I think this is a criminal offense? Probably not. Get over the qualified immunity hurdle? Probably not, especially because my understanding is that they actually found a knife on the floorboard where he was sitting. So the situation is not as clear-cut as people are trying to make it out to be. And plus, too, just think of the normal frustration factor as well. It's like, why is he being so difficult? Just, bro, it's very simple. If they're anything like the officers I know, they're going to let him off with a warning anyway. Most of these stops, honestly, they're just used to basically kind of suss people out and see, because this is how they usually get people on serious crimes, right? They'll pull them over for like a license plate violation or expired registration. Next thing you know, they're walking up. Oh, now they smell weed coming out of the car. Now they've got reason to search the car. Search the car. Oh, look, we just found a kilo of fentanyl in the car. Oh, crazy! Now that's a big case. That's a big bust. And it all started from a license plate cover violation or an expired tag. So they usually use these stops, like these little infractions, to initiate, to see, it's basically, it's a fishing expedition. It's a legal fishing expedition because they do have a legal reason to pull you over. But if they can't find anything bigger, as long as you're polite and cooperative, maybe even joke around a little bit with the officer, like there is a good chance if it's simple or low enough, they're just going to let you off with a warning. So that's just my experience, what I've seen working with officers very closely for the last 2-3 years. But what do I know, right? I'm just a prosecutor who's been in courtrooms every day and now represents people on the other side. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. If you want to see me make more videos about this, maybe watch the press conference and watch directly what my boy Ben Crump was saying, the attorney in this case, and some of the crazy statements he was making. I can make a video responding to that. Or talking about qualified immunity, what it takes to actually prosecute police officers, get a little nerdy on you. Then I'd be happy to do that. But that's going to be it for now for the coverage on this case. As far as, the broader life circumstances, as I've been mentioning, right, I'm on the defense side now. And actually my first day on the other side, on the dark side, if you will, was July 1st. And here we are, we're towards the end of July now. I'm recording this on a Friday. And just to put in reference the workload that's on me now, I have to spend this entire weekend drafting an emergency motion and emergency order to have it filed first thing Monday morning, because I'm about to be off for the next 2 weeks after that, going for my wedding ceremony and then my honeymoon. So very different from the DA's job, where as a DA, it was a strict 9 to 5. I didn't take work home and I didn't work weekends. Now in private practice, it's a lot more work and a lot more irregular hours. So that's the main reason I haven't been able to upload as much. Is I usually use the weekends to make these videos, but now I'm usually working on weekends. So that's kind of the main reason. With that in mind, I'm thinking of doing a switch on this channel, switching the content, because instead of trying to find time to make a video, which usually takes 5 to 10 hours if I'm researching and scripting and recording and editing and doing all that good stuff, that takes like 5 to 10 hours of manpower. I really just don't have that time anymore. I'm thinking instead I can switch over and do a live streaming model where I can just slot out like 3 hours every weekend, do a live stream, talk about maybe my cases for the week and talk about life as a lawyer. And then also talk about some of the high-profile cases that y'all want me to talk about. I can watch them live and react together with you. You'll be in the live chat comments. And also, you can be filling me in on the stuff that you've been following. I know I've got a bunch of followers that are super in tune with these other cases. That even, down to the comment section, like when I cover anything about Rock Nation or anything about Tory Lanez, it's like, y'all have so much more information than even I have, that I get educated down in the comments. So that's something, hey, we can do that live. You can educate me live in the comment section, in the live chat, whenever I'm live streaming. So that's my idea. let me know what you think about that, if you want to see me do streaming instead of this. And then, of course, kind of the plan from that would be to take the live stream VOD, like the 3 hours, and say I spend 30 minutes of it watching and reacting to a case like this. Then boom, take that 30 minutes, cut it up, upload that as its own separate video. So that way I'm still getting the same content, same style of content, but a lot less work that goes into it. Because yeah, I simply just do not have as much time as I did as a DA and to put in the hours necessary to do what I've been doing. So yeah, just let me know what you think about that switch. If you want to see the live stream shift, I'd be happy to do it. I'm definitely considering it very heavily because yeah, I think it's just going to be the best way I can continue to make content consistently and continue connecting with all you good people. But anyway, that's all I've got to say for today's video. I know it actually went a little longer than I was expecting, but that's how these things usually go. But once again, it's because we are thorough. We are thorough, in depth. We cover every detail, every aspect. Heck, I even broke this video down in slow motion earlier. That's how thorough you know this channel is. And so if you like seeing that kind of content, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe to come back for more. And definitely let me know down in the comments, what do y'all think about this case specifically, but also let me know what you think about this idea for streaming, because I think it's a pretty good idea actually. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I will see you all on the next one.